The European Union has launched a new phase of the Global Climate Change Alliance, called the Global Climate Change Alliance Plus, which will run until the year 2020. The launch event was held in Brussels on October 29, 2015, and it brought together more than 100 decision makers from Europe, Africa, Asia, the Pacific, and the Caribbean. The Global Climate Change Alliance was created in 2007 to become Europe's key tool to assist the world's most vulnerable developing countries in tackling the challenges of climate change.
We have come a long way. We started 8 years ago with a pilot covering just 4 partner countries. The last multi-annual financial framework from 2007 to 2013 provided a budget of more than 300 million euros and allowed the Alliance to support 51 programs in 38 countries, 8 regions and sub-regions. With a new phase of GCCA Plus, which I'm proud to be launching today, we want to do more and do it better. For the current programming period up to 2020, we have been able to secure an increased budgetary allocation of 350 million euros.
The Commissioner for Climate Action and Energy, Miguel Arias Cañete, expressed that this initiative shows that the European Union is scaling up climate finance to help the most vulnerable countries take action against climate change. This launch event came at a very historic moment, just before leaders from around the world gathered in Paris for the United Nations 21st Conference of Parties to sign a universal and legally binding agreement on climate, with the aim of keeping global warming below 2 degrees Celsius.
Pour atteindre ces objectifs et pour créer la confiance sur le fait que chacun sera en mesure de les atteindre, il faut des financements. Il est indispensable que l'Europe, dans son ensemble, soit au rendez-vous de cet engagement pour financer la lutte contre le dérèglement climatique. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle je suis absolument ravi de participer à cet événement de lancement de l'AMCC+, qui permet de rappeler tout ce qu'a fait l'Union depuis 2007 et tout ce qu'elle va faire de plus dans le cadre de cette nouvelle phase.
This event has showcased how the Global Climate Change Alliance supports least developed countries and small island developing states to build resilience and adapt to climate change.
The program has contributed to the elaboration of the National Climate Change Strategy. It was approved by the government in 2012. We also contributed to developing the comprehensive monitoring system to follow the implementation of the strategy. We started in 2013 on capacitating the Ministry of Land, Environment and Rural Development to assist districts on developing adaptation plans. So at this moment we have 14 districts that have an approved by the local government adaptation plan, and there are other 20 that are under elaboration. So those 34 cover around 20% of the population in some of the most vulnerable districts. I would like to mention that the new government has highlighted environment and climate change in its new 5-year plan for 2015 to 19 by singling out in a separate pillar environment and climate change.
At the event, a panel discussion entitled "Doing More, Doing Better" was organised. During this panel, participants suggested new mechanisms that the Global Climate Change Alliance could put in place in its next phase to bridge local actions with global policies and to integrate climate into sustainable development goals.
We are building now new tools and systems and programs together with the producers, together with the producer networks in the regions, to enable all these funds and resources that are being raised up here that exist to support the upscale of those successful pilot projects that are out there to really reach the farmers that are in urgent need.
Also, it was agreed that participation of local authorities, development organisations, civil society and the private sector should be enhanced. And with this, the influx of new capital is expected in order to continue upscaling the programme and generating a broader impact.
One of the challenges in the Eastern Caribbean with the OECS that I think comes from lack of intentional engagement of civil society is that they hoped somehow that implementation would trickle down to civil society. It hasn't. So I would have to say, participation, involvement of civil society has to be an intentional strategy. It ought to be something that's done from the very beginning, from the get-go. Don't just see civil society as, primary or secondary beneficiaries or possible implementers, but engage civil society in framing, planning, developing projects.
The Global Climate Change Alliance launch event enabled governments, development institutions, civil society and private sector representatives to learn about the programme and its funding opportunities. Since its establishment, the Global Climate Change Alliance has become the European Union's principal vehicle to offer technical and financial support on climate change to least developed countries and small island developing states. It has helped their voices to be heard in the international climate negotiations, and it's now recognised as one of the most significant climate change initiatives in the world. The Global Climate Change Alliance Plus official launch was a concrete action for the planet. The Directorate General for International Cooperation and Development of the European Commission paid considerable attention to decrease the event's carbon footprint by serving a fully vegetarian catering, offering biodegradable corporate gifts and limiting the use of paper-printed materials.